Hi, this is a little tutorial to show you how to generate a nice looking movement analysis profile within Excel. It's taken me a little bit of time to work out how to do it most easily, but once I have done, you'll see it's really quite straightforward. As with a lot of graphing of data within Excel, the real trick to it is actually getting the data in the right format to start with, and then you'll see it's really quite easy. So what I've done here is I've got really two blocks of data. The top block is the data that's coming from my patients, and the bottom block of data is the stuff that's coming from my reference subjects that are going to form the controls. And then each of the data is in two blocks for each of the left side, the right side, and then the overall data. And then each of those little blocks has got two columns. So I've got the value, this is the mean value or the median value, depending on how you want to look at it, and then the range value, so it's either a standard deviation or an interquartile range. And then basically I've got the different gait variable scores, so hip flexion extension, knee flexion extension, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, and I've listed them down here. And what I tend to do is I tend to like to plot the pelvis in green, because there only is one pelvis. We don't really have a left pelvis and a right pelvis. We've just got a pelvis. So for the three pelvic graphs and pelvic tilt, pelvic obliquity, and pelvic rotation, I've taken the data not for the left or the right side, but I've put it in the overall column. And then we have a GPS score for each side separately and for overall. And I've got exactly the same data in exactly the same format for my control group as for my patient groups. Now, the one little thing I want to do to make things a little bit easier is to add in a different column here. So I'm going to, a row. I'm going to insert a row, and I'm going to label this as left, right, and overall. Okay, one too many L's. Okay. And now I'm going to highlight the columns that I want to first plot in the data. So I'm going to highlight the labels that I want, and I'm going to highlight the data from the left side, and then I'm going to hold the control key down, and at the same time I'm going to highlight the data from the right side, and still holding the control key down, I'm going to highlight the data from the right side. That's all the data that I'm going to want to put into the motion analysis profile. So I'm now going to go to Insert, Column, and I'm going to select the clustered column setting. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this chart in the right place, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that I can see it properly. Okay, and you'll see that already 99% of the work has actually been done just by getting the data in the right format. But I'm going to tidy this up in a number of ways. I'm going to have a slightly brighter color of green. Notice that by default it's actually given my left side data a blue color, so I want to correct that and make it red, and it's made my right side data in that sort of dull red color, so I'm going to correct that and make it blue. I then like these columns to be a little bit wider, so I'm going to select one of the columns, I'm going to right click, I'm going to format the data series, and you can see here I can change the width between the clusters of the columns, and I'm going to move that down to about a value of about 50. It doesn't matter too much exactly what it is. Okay, and you'll see that these columns become a little bit wider. Now, I like to put mine in my data in the same format every time I do it. So I'm going to adjust the axes. I'm going to make sure that it always starts at 0. I'm going to make sure that it always goes up to 40 degrees. And the major unit helps me decide what grid lines we've got. So I'm going to put those at every 10 degrees. And the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that we don't have any decimal places there, because they just look a bit messy to me. Okay. I'm also like to put a border around the plot area. So I click on the plot area, and then I can right click in there, and I can go for a black border, and I can do that again, and I can just make it a little bit thicker. I'm just going to make it 1.5 squares wide. Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to do? I probably want to go to the Layout tab. I probably want to put a chart title. I'm going to put above the chart, and I'm going to call this the Movement Analysis Profile. Okay, I'm going to click the little box. I probably, by clicking, you see that the the formatting instructions have gone. So I'm going to click on this again, okay, and that'll bring them back up again because I want to put an axis title on. I want to go and put the rotated title, and I want to say gate, G-A-I-T, variable score, and I want to tell people that that's in degrees. Okay, and I'm going to click, and that's going to get it sorted out there. The other thing is I'm wasting a little bit of space by putting this legend to the side of the graph, so I'm going to shift it next onto the graph itself, and that will allow me to just drag that a little bit more widely. So you can see the movement analysis profile is looking quite nice now, but what we want to do is we want to add some error bars to show what sort of variability we've got. So first of all, I'm going to do it to the green data. I'm going to go and highlight the data by clicking on it, and then if we go to the layout tab, you'll see that one of the options we've got is to do the error bars, and I want some more error bar options. And what I tend to do is I tend to just put a plus error bar there, and I want to go and tell it which particular values to add in here, and I'm going to highlight the values for the range of the green side. Okay. Now we also want to change the color so it matches up with the column, and that's been done by default for us. And we want to set the width, and I think about 2¼ works reasonably well. Okay, so you can go here and you'll see that we've added in the error bars to the green columns, and it's not rocket science to think that we need to go and do exactly the same for the red column. I want to put in a plus. I want to specify the values. I'm going to put this here. Okay, I want to change that so it's a red color, and I want to put that at the same number of points of width. Okay, and we're just going to finish off by doing that also for the blue column. Okay, custom specified value. Coming down here, note when I'm coming down here that I'm including that blank column at the top in order that everything's got the it is in the right order. Okay, line color, solid line, blue, line style, going up to there. Okay, so there we go. At one level we've now got a completed movement analysis profile. What I like to do on my maps, however, is to put in the normative data as little black boxes down the bottom, and it's not obvious in Excel how to do that easily, and there's really a little trick here that I'm going to show you. So what we do is we select the chart, and then we right click that, which allows us the possibility of copying it, and then I'm going to paste the chart. So we've got now 2 copies of the chart, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the data in the top copy. So first of all, I'm going to change the actual values, and basically they are specified by this range of values in the bar up here. So I'm just going to change that for the values for the normal data, and then I'm going to press click, and you see the bottom, the column gets shorter. I'm going to do exactly the same for the red bar, and I'm going to do exactly the same for the blue bar, and of course the blue bar will end up the same height as the red bar because that's the way we've actually calculated the data. The other thing, of course, is that we're actually going to want to change the color of these. So I'm going to just right click on each series, which gives me the chance of changing it. I like to basically make them black but make them transparent. So I'm going to have a black with about 50% transparency, and I'm going to do this for all the columns. Oops, I think I pressed the wrong button there. Right click, go on to more fill colors, and I can affect the transparency. Okay, and then let's do that for the green one as well. So more colors. Oops, go for that. And then we're going to go for the same color. Okay, so you can see that we've now all got these green bars, and the final thing we want to do is we want to actually change the error bars. So I should be able to highlight the sequence, go to layout again, highlight the error bars, And this time I'm gonna come down the way rather than up the way. So I'm going to specify the values, and here I want a negative error bar, so I want this column here. Okay, and I'm going to change the line color. I'm going to have it a light grey color. Okay, do the same for this. I want to go for the minus rather than the plus, and I want to put in the negative values. Okay, I want to change the line color to be the same color. And finally, I'm going to do it for the blue bars. Or what were the blue bars? Minus, specify the values, go for the negatives, and come down here. Okay, change the color so that it's the same. Okay, now the final trick we've got to do here is I'm actually going to right click on the chart area and I'm going to make it transparent. So I'm going to go for no fill. Okay, and you see we start seeing through the fill area to what's underneath, but I also, you see, we don't actually see through the plot area, so I also have to click on the plot area right side, and you can see I can select that to be transparent as well here, which all ends up with us having two basically sets of the graph, and I'm going to put one on top of the other. Okay, and you'll see when we do this, we get the two lining up quite nicely. Now you can play around trying to get them exactly on top of each other if you like. Tends to be, because they're not quite on top of it, these are a little bit blurry. So what I sometimes do is I just go and delete the things that are on the top chart. And now you can see I've ended up with a movement analysis profile that shows you all the data for the patients, all the data for the normal subjects, and really looks quite nice. And I've done that all in around about 10 minutes, I think, including explaining it to you guys. So I hope that shows you how to do it, and you can go away and generate movement analysis profiles to your heart's content. Thanks for listening.